All right, I'm just going to try and do a bit of a review on my Hafco Metal Master, and it's a HM54GV mill. Now, the unit, this particular unit, I think for a standard workshop is very good. You can go and spend $20,000 or $30,000 on bigger ones, but I don't think it's that necessary if you've got a small shop. Now, this has got two spindles. One is your vertical spindle, which is right there, as you can see. Now, that has got a 3 horsepower motor driving that. Now, then it's got a horizontal spindle which comes straight out, and that's got a separate 2 horsepower motor running that one. So you've got the best of both worlds in that sort of an area. It's got a geared head assembly up here, so there's no belts and drives to actually worry about up here. The vertical or the horizontal mill here, that is belt driven, but the motor's right down the back, but that's only minor detail. Now these do come with a special guard here which stops all chips and things like this. Personally, I have got a different method of stopping that, so I don't use it because it's in my road. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Now, what I've done is I have improved the machine. This one has got, that's your X motor there, and then I have added on one for the Y, and I've added one onto the Z, which makes it motorized going on the Y, which is forwards and backwards, and on the other one it's a Z or Z, whichever way you want to do it. Now, as soon as you do that, I've had to modify pieces in here, and I've had to make my own units in here for your bearings and things like this. Now, generally speaking, that is the handle. Whoops, there we go. That's the handle goes on there. That's normally sprung loaded, but what I've done, I've left it off because it gets in my road. Now, the original handpiece is like that, and because it's got a different system going on here. Now, the other purpose for the handle is the actual whole turret assembly, or the head, whatever you want to call it, that actually moves forwards and backwards, or backwards forwards, doesn't really matter. What you do is you loosen off that lock nut and that one there, and then that will actually fit on there. Yeah, somewhere around there it is. Now that'll fit on there. Now, by winding that towards the front or towards the back will allow that whole head assembly to go forwards and backwards, which means that comes through and you can move your table wherever you like. Now, when you've got it at the position that you require, then you turn around, put your lock tabs on, and that's locked. Now, this ram assembly, it's got about 450 mil travel forwards and backwards, which is nearly half a metre, so it's fairly good. Now, because it's got a horizontal spindle here, if we sort of bypass it, going around the back a tiny bit here, that is a bushing assembly. Now, this whole assembly will rotate 180 degrees, so that back part there will end up in the front here, right? And then you can put a inch or inch and a quarter extension bar on there and things like this for cutting gears or whatever you want to do, right? That's not a problem there. So that's that part there. Now, also, because you have to undo or loosen off 4 bolts, 2 here, 2 on the other side, so you can actually tilt the head, or move the head, sorry, left or right from 0 to 90, 180 degrees, whatever you want, because it will actually swivel right around. Not that you normally do it, because then you got wires and things like this. Now, this unit also is with the head, if you want a tram or whatever, this particular one you can tilt to the left or to the right approximately 45 degrees. So you've got, I'll just come around, that's your scale there. You loosen a bolt off there, one underneath, one on the other side, and then you can swivel it left or right. To swivel it, you turn, that one there is for your left and right. This one here is for going forwards and backwards. That's not a problem. The only other thing is, if you want to do a forward or backward axis, you have to shim adjust it. And the only way I've been able to shim adjust it, you loosen 2 bolts, one there, 2 on the other, and in this particular case, I think I've got about 2 thou shim sitting inside here, which tilts it forward. So I've got it, everything is trammed in, so I've got 0 vertically, horizontally, etc. So it's all done. Now also, as a matter of interest, you can actually move the main table, which has got 600 travel, or 600 by 200, something like that. Now what happens is you can swivel it to the left or to the right. So you undo a bolt under there, 1 under there, 2 on the back as well. Then you can move it 30 degrees left or right, whichever way you want to do it. So that's that. Now this table has actually got a 14mm T-nut rail inside, so you can put, it's got a bigger base and stuff like that. When I come over here, I've got several different types. That's a kit that actually I've purchased for it. So you got your 14mm T-nuts and you got all the adapters, etc. You've actually got a key here for cleaning that up as well. We've got a DRO, which we'll turn on shortly anyway. Now also, it has got a pump down here. That is a tray which will hold all your fluids, cutting fluids and stuff. That's your pump down there. Now what happens is, I haven't connected it and I'm walking around as we're showing you. That's a hose there, and that connects onto the side of the table here. So when you're using your coolant, that'll come down through here, go along the table, so to speak. Then it'll go through down this drain hole, down the pipe and back into the container underneath the actual mill, and then it just recirculates, not a problem from there. So I'll just keep that out the road for a minute. We have got a light, and I'll turn that on. I'll come back for that in a minute. Looking at it from the left hand side, we have got, that's your big power box there. Now also, this is all on dovetail, so your vertical dovetail, everything's on dovetail, so it's fairly good. Now on here you've got your various speeds for your motor, which is for your horizontal spindle. Now that is accessed through this cover in the back here, so you would unscrew that, open it up and adjust it, or whatever you want to do, so there's no problem. That is your on-off switch. So if we flick that over, then we come around to the front of the machine. Now there's two ways to operate this. You pull that out, you press your button, and then you've got power. Now automatically, the vertical motor there, which is your 3 horsepower, that's got a fan assembly in it which keeps it cool all the time. Now you've got, that's your spindle here. So if I press this button here, you've got your spindle going forwards. Now also it's got a variable speed unit, which I can go like so for your speed, and if you have a look at the speed, so you can, as you can see, you can vary your speed. You can, now that's going clockwise. As soon as I press that button there, there's a reverse, so we can actually reverse it as well, and that's also variable speed. Now if a problem occurs, that's your automatic cut off. So all you do, just give that a bit of a flick, turn that back on, and you got everything off there. Up here, of course, that's for your horizontal. I'm not going to turn on because I've got a piece of rag there, so it doesn't really matter, but that's pertaining to that. Now also, you've got a set of switches on the front here as well, and this is pertaining to your horizontal motor, but it's also got another cut off, so you have to turn around, switch that back on for it to work. Now once it's working like that, you've got this power feed here, which is on the X. You lift that up, you pull that forward and make sure it's got a bit of speed to it, so you can go fast forward or variable speed, whatever you want. If you can press stop, pull that back again, and then you can turn that off, or you can get a very slow speed if you want a very fine cut or a rough cut, whatever. So that's that part. If you press your button, then that's a high speed. So that's that part there. Now you've got table locks here, that's for your horizontal lock there, and another horizontal lock underneath here. There we go, sorry about that. So that's to stop it moving left or right. Now this has also got stops on it, so that when you're going to the right, so this part here, the switch will actuate in, and as soon as it does, it'll go against that and stop it. It's the same with the other side going to the left. There's another one under there with your stop over here. Okay, so that's that part. Now I have actually myself, I have added the Y motor on, and also the Z I have put on as an addition. Now I'll just take this off so it doesn't fall on anything. Now this is also powered, so that when I press that on, I've got a power on button, and this will go forward. As you can see, it's going forward like that. I've got a high speed, or I can virtually stop it, or I can do exactly the same as the other one. So if I pull it back towards me, it'll actually come back. So that's that part. And then I've got I'll put one on the Z or Z as well. When I lift that up, the whole unit will go upwards. I can go fast speed, or I can make it variable. Right, so it's the same thing when I go down. Anyway, we'll leave that for the moment. Now, what I've actually done, because I've added these on myself, these are all parts I'll purchase with the machine from Hafco in Kewdale, or Machinery House. Now, what I've done is, that's all fairly good. I've made up, there's vertical rail there with the stop underneath, and it's the same thing on the right hand side. I've come up and I've actually placed them under here as well. You can see all of that as, whoops, there we go. That's your stops and the rail. That's your one rail, that's your whole rail, then your stops underneath there. Now, the actual wiring was hooked up by Hafco and Kewdale, or Machinery House. They had an electrician come out and they hooked it all up, so everything is as is in a complete sequence there. Now also, besides tramming, I've turned around, I've made up these special legs. As you can see under there, it's a fairly heavy bar, and it's got all the feet on this, so that's fully adjustable. So that's got full adjustment there and over there. And what that is, you have to make sure that your mill is horizontal, and left, right, forwards, backwards, so everything's spot on. Then you do your tramming. As I said, the tramming is the perpendicular left or right, so you want that straight with the table, not with the floor. Everything is subject to your table, so that is there. And then you got your forward and backward tilt, left, right, and then it's trimmed in or whatever. Now also, as you can see, I've got the light here, which that's quite good. You know, everybody each to their own, but at least you got a light there, which is good. Now, as we go through, we've got the DRO over here, which comes in very handy. If I come around and like if you have a look at the Y, I'll wind it in, and as I wind it in, you can see everything. I'll just bring it up a bit more. There you go. So that goes like that. If I move the actual x-axis, which is your left to right, see that's the top one moving. If I come around and I move the Z or the Z, as I come up, you'll see that going up and down as well. Right, so that's not a problem. Now, if I turn the actual motor on, which is on the actual Z, now if I move that to the right, I'm talking about electronically now, that is automatically feeding the table going back to the right here. If down here I've got a control, so I can either turn it to the left and turn it to the right, and as I turn it to the right, it'll speed up, or I'll go slow. If you go slow, depending on what sort of cut you want and what you're doing with it, if I press that button there, you'll see the table move fast, and at the same time the DRO is showing everything as well. Now if I grab this handle and I've got it off there and I'll turn it to the left, the table goes to the left, and I can also, as I said, it's fully adjustable on there, or if I want a faster speed I press the button and that'll go to the left. And also you've got all the measurements on the DRO, so you can actually stop at any particular area that you want. If I come back to the Y position, which is in the middle here, I'll turn the power on. Now that's got a fast speed, so if I pull that up, that goes forward or away from me. So as you can see, the DRO is working at the same time. If I come around, I can speed that up, I can stop it. If I pull the handle or the handpiece down, then it'll come back and it screws itself out. That's my adjustment for the speed here, so I can either have that fast or slow. And as I'm doing that, you can see the DRO moving as well. I'll put on fast, so that works quite well there. Now if I come back over, I've got the Z or the Z, so I'll put power on that. Now that will go upwards. As you can see, it's cranking to the right and it's actually going up. The DRO here is showing everything as it goes up. If I turn around and give it power, it goes up a lot faster. So if I turn around, come back to here again, if we stop that, put it in the middle, pull it down, and it'll come down again. So then we got slow and, well, a fast speed, or we can accelerate, or whatever we want to do. Now also with this DRO, and I presume they're all the same, now that is in a metric format, but if I've got a machine and I want to do something in imperial, I just press that button, press that, and that gives me automatically all of the things in thousandths of an inch. So this one's at 74, like 0.74 thou, is 74.6, just over 74.5 thou. So I can actually do that. If I want to put it back to metric, I just press that and it's back in metric all automatically. So that makes it quite easy, especially if you've got something and you want it to mill across nice and slow, or whatever you want to do. NT30 system on it, the NT30. So NT30. So if you want to put, like for example, this unit in, which is your for drilling holes, you put that in there. There's a drawbar there, which is a 12mm drawbar, and that goes in the back of that, and that's threaded as well. The actual table itself is 1 metre wide by 240 deep, which is, it's a pretty good average size for what a small workshop would need. This one, compared to the bigger machines, well, it's a lot heavier on it if you're going to spend $20,000 or $30,000. But the beauty about it, and I think the best thing about it is, I mean, admittingly, I'll put the extra motors in and stuff like this, but the horizontal mill is worth its weight in gold, because you might want to face a manifold on the side or whatever, you know. Whereas you got the vertical spindle and the horizontal combination gives you an extra good unit. So and also because you've got the fan always cooling down. It's a bit of a pain as far as noise if you want to record or something sometimes, but you can get around that. Also, before I forget, you've got your spindle which goes down. It's about it's about 5 or 6 inches, something like that. You can actually lock that up if you want a bit, and you can actually turn that by hand and the spindle will come down on and off. So now there's increments on here where you can adjust it to whatever. Well, I think it's in 0.02 of a mil graduation, which is quite fine. Now on here we've also got a stop, so you can turn around and set that up to go whatever you like. That'll turn out and that'll automatically come down, which means your spindle will only go down so far, If you want a longer travel, you can go down or whatever you want to do. So that works out as quite well. It's pretty versatile in what it is. There is supposedly a spindle hole for spindle adjustment. I've never had to worry about this stage. It's supposed to be there, but you know what it's like. Yeah. Other than that, I hope you've got some sort of idea about it. But yeah, I highly recommend this particular mill. And yeah, it's coupled up with my AL356V. Yes, it's got metal all over it because I've just been working with it. But the combination between this one here and with the mill here, I've got quite a lot of things I can do with them. I can do anything that a bigger machine can do. Well, just about. The only thing is it's a smaller table. The other one's got about a 4 foot or table, which is a lot bigger. But for me, this particular machine is really good. I've got everything of both worlds here, well, as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, highly recommend it.